Tell me if the candle catches fire.
Okay.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Madonna Songbook, the podcast about Madonna's great songwriting and producing talent. My name is Giulio Mazzoleni. I'm your host. A long time ago, I can still remember when I became a Madonna fan. It was 1985. I was only 12 years old, and ever since, I've been passionate and super devoted to studying her music, her songs, until I decided to make a book about it. Here it is. It's called Madonna Songbook, and it has all the stories and stats and facts about her songs, with interviews with her producers, her collaborators, quotes from Madonna herself. But back to us, this podcast is a continuation of this project. It just felt natural to make a podcast out of the book, to share more stories about Madonna songs, make justice of her music and her talent in creating a fantastic musical world. I am blessed and honored by all the nice feedback I've been getting. Thank you all. The book covers Madonna's career in chronological order. Here instead, in this podcast, I'll be picking 2 songs for each episode and draw some parallels with these songs belonging to different eras of her career, but with something in common, what I call themes or artistic mantras. I have created Spotify playlists for these themes. You can find them in my book and on Spotify at Madonna Songbook by Giulio Mazzoleni. Please take a moment to subscribe to this podcast so you get notified when a new episode is released. It's on YouTube and Spotify as a video podcast, and on other platforms like Apple and Amazon on audio-only podcast. Also, I've been getting a lot of requests to talk about specific songs. Well, I have a space for that, and it's Madonna Songbook on Patreon. Please subscribe there to get access to exclusive podcasts where I take requests and tell all the details and stories behind the Madonna songs you personally pick. And by the way, you can even win a free copy of my book every month. Now, let's get to work. Let's get to business. Let's start the show. Without further ado, let's take a journey into Madonna's songbook. Leave all the chatter behind. Let the music take control. The subject of this episode is Madonna's Latin songs. We will revisit La Isla Bonita and Medellin with a nice look back on these 2 hits and their similarities, and then we will list and discuss all other Latin-flavored Madonna songs. And how could I do a podcast like this and not invite some caliente guys? Joining me from Buenos Aires, Argentina, are Diego Alejandro Parri and Augustine Aguirre from SantaMadonna podcast. Hola.
Hola.
Ciao.
Hola, chicos.
Hello.
Hola, Giulio. Come
I'm
vai?
excited. I'm good. I'm excited to welcome you on the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting us. We're excited as well. We're really happy to be here. Thank you.
It's great to
How's
exchange
things?
visits. I've been on your podcast, and now you are my
Yes.
guest. So it's really
Yes, and
fun.
we are so happy that you have participated in SantaMadonna. We had really great feedback from our listeners. They were very happy to listen to your knowledge on Madonna songs, and thank you for being there. And we're so happy to
Thank you very
visit
much.
your podcast, which is wonderful. We've been listening
Thank
to
you.
it, and we're fans
And
already.
I love
Yes.
yours because it keeps my Spanish in practice. Although it's hard.
Ah, you're doing your homework.
We are a Spanish lesson.
You're my Spanish lesson.
Yep.
Let me
If you do
introduce
your
you
homework.
to those who don't listen to SantaMadonna or would like to listen to it. And I have very precise research. SantaMadonna is a podcast made by Argentinian fans with a Latin view for the whole world. Focusing in on the Madonna musician, we go over her discography and her work as a conceptual performatic artist. This is how you guys have described it, and I think it's just perfect. For those who don't speak Spanish, buy a course, start a course, and then get to listen to these guys. It's always fun. Who are these 2 guys
Thank
here
you.
with us? Diego Alejandro Parri is an Argentine DJ, actor, and audiovisual editor. As an actor, he has worked in radio, theater, and movies, just like Eva Duarte. Can you see her behind me? He's obsessed with Eva Duarte. He also has been published as an author in short stories. Oh, for those who didn't do their homework, Eva Duarte is Eva Duarte de Perón.
You should know.
Exactly.
Better.
We took it for granted.
Evita.
It should be. This trivia is no. You
No,
have
no.
to be a Madonna fan. No.
Don't fail.
Exactly.
Diego has also been published as an author in short stories and has independently edited compilations of poetry and visual art. He's an activist of the GLBTIQ cause, and currently he works as a Big Brother TV editor and plays music in bars and clubs in Buenos Aires. Augustine Aguirre is an Argentinian actor with a background in theater and prolific career in advertising, having appeared in over 100 commercials for international markets. Will you do the commercial for my podcast, please?
Yes, it's the cachet is going to be very expensive.
Okay.
But I will be happy to do
But
it.
he's giving face.
I'll send you some of my vinyls as a trade. In addition to his work as a performer, he's a seasoned casting producer specializing in advertising and an experienced sound designer. Most recently, he produced the SantaMadonna version of the unreleased track Warning Signs, which you guys undug for us from the music sheets. And he showcases his multifaceted, talented in audiovisual production. Thank you for undigging that song for us. It's not the Madonna recording, but at least we know what it sounds like. So it was really
Maybe, yeah.
fun. Maybe.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, we are sure that the melody is the same, but I don't know the production. It was
course.
just something
it's an artistic.
I made it, but the
made a
melody
cover.
is
You
Yes.
made a cover of a song we never heard. For those who
Exactly.
are trying to figure out how, it's because back in the days, music was written on music sheets with words and notes, and everybody could play it. This is something from the Paleozoic eras, dinosaurs.
Exactly.
We were there.
We were there.
Before we talk of the Latin songs, I will ask you to please share with us your Madonna experience. What made you a Madonna fan? What struck you the most about her at first sight or first listen, since we're here to talk about music? And for each of you, what is your favorite song or album or couple of songs?
Okay, me first. Okay, I knew Madonna since I was a little boy because I have an older sister and brother, and they were fans of Madonna back in the 80s. So Madonna was very much in my childhood. But I became a official fan during the Vita period because she was everywhere here in Buenos Aires. So it was impossible to escape her, and I fell in love with her. And actually the first song that hit me was Like a Prayer. I remember watching the music video in a MTV special, and I was, okay, I love this woman. And my first memory, actually, it was La Isla Bonita back in the 86 when it was a single. It was a very big hit here in Argentina. So I remember I was 4 years old, and I remember hearing La Isla Bonita. So I'm very pleased to do this episode.
Great,
What
thank
about
you.
Well, I like Agustin, I remember Madonna from when I was a little boy. It was like there all of the time because it was part of our culture, of our musical culture. I have a cousin who was a fan back in the 80s, and while I was growing up, I knew of her, and I was really hooked by Material Girl, but I didn't pay much more attention to her. But when I was around 12 or 13 years, that's when I started to pay attention to her, and I asked my cousin if he would record in a tape the Immaculate Collection, because I wanted to have her hits. And then there was some free space at the end. Came either in 60-minute tapes or 90-minute tapes. So it was 90 minutes, so it had some space available. So I asked him to put some random songs, and he placed Bad Girl. And that to this very same day, it's my favorite Madonna song. So I really got hooked with that song, that particular song. And then a couple of years later, she came to do Evita. And like he said, it was very special for us fans here in Argentina because it was like a bonding for, it was very special for her, but it was special for us as well because it was like 2 months so crazy here. So that was when she solidified as my diva for me.
Exactly. Yeah.
It was a very special moment, even for us following from abroad. And there was this super huge connection and fever. The fans, the hard work she was putting, the protests, the production starting, all the anticipation. It's unforgettable, unforgettable. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's get to business. Vamos a trabajar.
Let's get
Empezamos.
Latin.
Let's get started. The first song we're talking about today is La Isla Bonita, which officially is Madonna's first Latin flavored song. And it's the first song that she recorded with hints of Spanish language. It was made during the recording sessions of True Blue between the end of 1985 and early 1986. In the middle, Madonna filmed the movie with her husband Shanghai Surprise in China and London. So she was submitted a demo by Patrick Leonard and Bruce Geist and developed the melody and lyrics while she was away. When she returned, she recorded it and finished it in time to be added to True Blue. The fun fact is that this song initially was submitted as a demo to Michael Jackson because Quincy Jones, who was working with him on the Bad album, had requested something Latin, calypso, something that would sound like Sade, which was very fashionable at that moment. And eventually they settled for the song Liberian Girl, but they turned down the original demo of La Isla Bonita. So it was Bruce Gaish, the acoustic guitar player and co-writer of the song, that told Patrick Leonard, why don't you play it for Madonna? Maybe she will want it. And this is how, by chance, Madonna got to make La Isla Bonita. Another fun fact that I really like is that the lyrics talk about her dreaming of San Pedro, and so many people claim that San Pedro is the vacation destination resort in the Caribbean, in California, in Mexico. No, it doesn't exist. Even Wikipedia says that. The true fact is that Madonna confessed in 2009 during a Rolling Stone interview for the Celebration album that she didn't do too fancy holidays back at the time, that she wouldn't go to Caribbean places. She was very focused on working. The very hard truth is that she was driving to the studio. There was an exit in LA to San Pedro, and she thought it would sound nice to put it in the song. And when she did the Madame X promotion, she explained, this is fiction, this is talent, this is songwriting. You use your imagination and you make songs. You don't necessarily have to be true.
Exactly.
Another very particular story is that this song was so powerful that when the album came out in summer 86, everybody loved it. Although Papa Don't Preach was a big single, it started playing everywhere in the world and getting spontaneous radio airplay, to the point that in many countries there were covers of the record, of the song, already released as singles and even charting, like in the Netherlands and Italy. When Madonna finally released it as the fifth single from the album in spring 87, everybody already knew it, and it became the best-selling single of the year all over Europe in 1987. I think it was a number one in 200 countries or something. It's unforgettable. That song really left a mark. Augustine, what does it mean to you?
Well, as I told you before, it was like my first Madonna memory, and actually it's one of my favorite songs. I love La Isla Bonita. I was hearing your conversation with Stefano from MLBC podcast, and he told you that Vogue is this track that he never skips. I think La Isla Bonita is one of those tracks for me. I love a lot of Madonna tracks, but sometimes I hear tracks and I skip them. But there's something about La Isla Bonita that I love it. I can hear it every time. I will never get bored of it, and it's she can sing it whenever she wants live on tour. I will always celebrate. It works. It's amazing, and
You're lucky
also
then because
Liza.
she keeps playing it. She's always singing
Yes,
it in
I
most
will
of the
never
shows.
complain.
I was thinking that La Isla Bonita probably set a blueprint for a lot of the Latin songs that came afterwards. I mean, I remember it even influenced Latin artists. There's a recording of Shakira, a very young Shakira, making singing La Isla Bonita on TV.
Yes, and so many pop artists want to have their own La Isla Bonita,
La Isla
like
Bonita.
Cherry Halliwell has Mi Chico Latino,
Exactly.
or Lady Gaga has Alejandro. I think they just want to have their own La Isla Bonita.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys said it right. Madonna settled a template for pop music to always try a Latin way. Also, a few years after she did La Isla Bonita, there was a huge craze in North America where when Latin music exploded and many artists had their way and became successful. She wasn't the only one, obviously, that led this path, but there was a moment when it was extremely, extremely popular, making Latin oriented American pop music. But Madonna it's like she invented the template that everybody used, like
Yes.
you said. Interestingly, one of the earliest successful Latin artists in the 80s, 90s was Gloria Estefan, a Cuban emigrated to America, who, although making pop music, was being very specific about her origins and therefore making Cuban and Caribbean music. And she explained how La Isla Bonita was pretty much everything and nothing because it was a bit Spanish, a bit Brazilian, a bit Mexican, a bit of everything. But it was
Because
an important presentation for everyone.
because that's what Madonna does best. Because that's she gets to make a confluence of everything and make it presentable to everyone to understand and to enjoy. And while it was massive in the world, who was celebrating the exoticness of the Latin rhythm, in Latin America probably it was even bigger because over the fact that the song is pretty flawless, but because it was representing back in the days of pre-globalization, you know, when you had to take an actual plane to taste the culture of a place, it was like the spotlight of the pop cultural world was shining on Latin America because La Isla Bonita was everywhere. It was huge. Even the biggest star in the world was singing about this corner of the earth. And we were proud of La Isla Bonita, and we wore it proudly as an anthem. So it was played to death in every club, every radio party, wedding, quinceañera, and you name it. It was on way longer than its chart run. Even today, they say it's Madonna's biggest hit in Latin America, even bigger than Virgin, Vogue, Hung Up.
And actually, it's the most viewed video of Madonna, which is not the best video of Madonna. I think it's because of the song.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And I know she loves La Isla Bonita and she knows how good it is. And that's amazing.
She
just
really
love
likes
that.
it. I think it's
She
one
really
of the
likes it,
one of the, few, like 5 or 10 songs that both the artist and the fans are extremely passionate about. She likes it so much. And Augustine, you're very lucky because, like we said, Madonna does it almost every time she goes on tour.
Yes.
And typical of songs that are extremely legacy songs of multiple generations, like My Way by Frank Sinatra or La Vie en Rose by Edith Piaf. These are the songs that linger for ages, for many generations, and probably drive a lot of traffic on. The first video that Madonna video that passed the billion views is La Isla Bonita, despite not being such a sophisticated video. It's because everybody wants to hear that song. there's only one version of that song. There's not many. There's one remix by Chris Lord Alge who did an extended version, but nobody altered the
The
original
best one.
sound. And then Madonna, when she goes on stage, she does a lot. She did it in the Who's That Girl tour, being similar to the original version. She wanted to do it for Blonde Ambition. There was the design with the torero, matador, bullfighter outfit that Jean-Paul Gaultier designed, but it was cut. Then she did it for Girly Show, which was Caribbean in Drowned World Tour. It was acoustic in the Confessions Tour. It was dance, like the 70s. At Live Earth and Sticky Sweet, she did the gypsy version. Let me see, what else do we have? With the Kolapokov trio, she did that beautiful version, the gypsy version. In Madame X, she did it as a fado, beginning her fado experience, and then she sang it at the Red Rooster, where she presented the Madame X live experience, and again in the Celebration tour in pretty much the same version of the original album cut. So she came full circle, and the song has been pretty much touching different cultures and traditions and productions and sounds, but still remains an incredible, specific stamp on pop music.
Yeah, and when she does it live, it's always a very high point in the shows. Even if it's in the middle, like in the Sticky and Sweet tour, it was one of the best moments of the show. I remember it was like this big party.
Yes.
We were all singing La Isla Bonita. Or she does it for the encores, for the ending of the shows, always, all the time. I mean, the Girly Show, that version, I think, is the best part of the show. It's amazing. And it's always so fine, so sophisticated. It is, it's like a good wine, you know?
Gets better with time. And speaking of wine, let's take a sip of champagne and talk about the second song. The second song we're talking about today is Medellin, the first single from Madame X, the album Madonna released in 2019. She started working on it early in 2018, and it was one of the first songs she recorded and demoed, actually, and wrote with Mirwais. She had the idea of inviting Maluma. A lot of people discussed the fact that she didn't need to follow the trend because Maluma was extremely popular at the time. She had just met him backstage at the MTV Awards 2017 in New York, and there's footage behind the stage. You can see how charmed she is by him. She wants to meet him, and she's looking at him going like, wow, I like you, I like you. They made a song together. I really enjoyed their complicity. They have a very good vibe between the two of them. They seem to enjoy each other very much. And the way he contributed
They have
to
really
the
good
song.
chemistry.
That's the word. And the way they did the song is nothing at all, as people would say, that she followed the trend of Maluma. She made the song with Mirwais and invited him over with Edgar Barrera, his co-writer and producer, who won 21 Latin Grammys, to London to add a verse to the song. And when Edgar tried to change the structure, she said, no, this is my song, you leave it as it is, because it's a very traditional pop song. Nowadays, songs have very short verses and immediately the chorus goes in, or they have a drop, or they have something super catchy. She liked the long verse and she didn't want to cut it. And that's how the song remained. There's a long journey between La Isla Bonita and Medellin. We will see the songs that were in the middle. But why I picked this one, it's because there are similarities that we have seen. Even in this case, Madonna has a dream and she goes to Medellin. This one is a real place, the capital of Colombia, where Maluma is from. And she discusses her feelings of a dream, of an hallucination. She says she's sipping her pain just like champagne. This is something that she took from a cup that was given to her, a porcelain teacup, that a gadget that she was given, and you would see it most of the times in Instagram stories while she was recording Madame X. So she took the wording from that and took it to the next level and built a whole song around it, which again is the great songwriting talent of Madonna. How do you like this song? What struck you the most of this one?
I love Medellin. I loved it since it came out. I I know it got mixed reviews here in Latin America. I feel it's a really melancholic song, and I feel the lyrics are really poetic. I feel they tell a story, which
Yes.
Agustina has heard me on my theory of this story, but since day one, to me, it's the story of this dance teacher in her 60s who's had a great life and goes back to a place in Latin America where she was happy once in a holiday at her 17th year. And she meets a younger guy who reminds her of someone she fell in love with back then. And she dreams with this guy that she leaves her great life and starts anew. They marry and she forgives herself for being free, even when she knows she will go back to her gray life after all. And to me, that's pure Madonna poetry. And it was totally unfair how they treated the song, as you say, like she was jumping on Maluma for being famous.
On a trend.
Yes, because the rhythm is great, the melody is great, the bridge is amazing. You know, I love it. And the video, I really like the video as well.
And they look good
We're
together.
fans of, yes, and we're fans of the Madame X project, and so Medellin for me it's a total yes. I love it.
Yeah, I like it. Not as much as Parri, but I think it's a great song. I love the production of it because Mirwais is one of my favorite producers, and I really, really, really love the production of Medellin. I love the Madonna verses, the poetry on it, but I don't like what Maluma says in the song. I like how he sings, but I don't like the lyrics of Maluma.
Yeah, but he plays the character.
He plays the
That
character.
the song needs.
Yeah.
A hot young
And the
guy.
video is,
Yeah.
exactly, yeah. I don't think it was a very good first single to promote Madame X, but still it's a great single. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those cases a lot of people discuss is if the album was launched with something else, the direction it would have taken would be completely different. But overall, the whole album is something that unifies it, and I really like Madame X, is that Madonna intended to celebrate minority cultures across the planet, and she went all over the places, Morocco, Cape Verde, Portugal, Brazil, Colombia, in a moment when especially the Hispanic culture in the US was being severely attacked. So again,
Threatened.
she was being extremely political while being poetic.
Yes.
And when she's political, I really like her. I love American
Yeah,
Life.
once again, she was ahead of the time because nowadays the politic crisis in North America is horrible, and with the immigrants and the Latin people. So
Yeah, all over the world there's a looming times, and Madonna had been kind of warning us a couple of years before this happened. She envisioned it, and I think Madame X is an album that's a world music album, and it was ahead of its time, and it will be. There will be a time when it will be looked back as lost gem, and will be revindicated.
Oh, that
Yep.
would be amazing.
Yeah.
The great fact
And
of
Medellin.
Medellin is that although it wasn't super successful, and again, we have to consider that no artist in their fourth decade of career has ever had the same hit singles of the first two decades. It's normal.
And
it's typical.
least of all, being a woman.
And because of that as well, still, it was a super huge streamer across the world. It still is among Madonna's top 20 most streamed songs ever. And it was not impactful in the official charts, but made a mark that we still remember. Madonna performed it in the Madame X tour, but she also presented it at the Billboard Awards. And she sang it at Maluma's concert when he did his comeback show in a stadium in Medellin.
No, I don't. I never seen that. I don't know what you're talking about.
I think she was having fun.
Maybe I was
She
wrong.
had.
No, no. I think it needed more rehearsal maybe for that presentation. But I love the Billboard Music Awards. That was a great performance.
Yes, with the
Yeah,
personas.
that was a very good performance. Yeah, and she was
Yeah,
very
the
happy to do
holograms
it.
with all the characters of Madame X presenting the whole
Yes.
thing. It was a really beautiful number. Yes, we will remember that. And you know, all the remixes that were made out of this song developed rhythms that are different from the traditional reggaeton or pop or techno beats that contemporary songs usually have. So she brought something new and special. How can
Yes.
we compare these two songs? Where do you see similarities and differences?
Well, the obvious similarities, the love of Madonna for the Latin culture and Latin music.
Yeah, and talking about the Latin culture in a dreamy and oniric way, and like a very good memory of it, and a place that she is happy or she longs to be.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, she always talks fondly of Latin culture, having, or traveling to Latin America, or so maybe that transpires into her work as well. Of course, our hearts are with La Isla Bonita as being a formative song in her canon, but Medellin is a bit more sophisticated, lyric-wise, and to me, it's a bit more complex sound-wise as well. But it's hard if you had to choose one because you know Isla.
We don't have to choose. We don't have to choose. We have
Yes.
so many. We can all
No.
play those. It's very hard to live up to such a high standard when you set the bar so high. I think, like you guys said, it's very sophisticated. The evolution of Madonna as a songwriter probably didn't deliver such a spontaneous, undeniable mega hit like La Isla Bonita, but with Medellin, she gave an incredibly flavored and tasteful song that you can dig into, whether you like Maluma or not. Lyrically, I see many similarities because both, like we said, talk about dreaming of San Pedro and Medellin, and also they talk about the sun. Sky in La Isla Bonita, the sun was caressing my skin in Medellin. And in both videos, although this podcast is about the songs, I noticed that she's praying on her knees. At the beginning of Medellin, she's
Yes.
praying.
You're
In La Isla
right.
Bonita, she prays. Also, there are
Yeah.
scenes of passion and touching and sensuality, and scenes of street partying. So one is a wedding, the other is dancing in the street. Although, like I said, you can't choose one or the other. You would definitely
No.
choose La Isla Bonita. It doesn't mean that whenever Madonna makes a song, even if we don't like it at first listen, if you strip off some elements, you realize how much time and research and beautiful poetic inspiration, even from a gadget, she puts into writing a song.
You can choose because um, the Madonna songs are for moments. There are moments for La Isla Bonita and there are moments for Medellin. So that's what's good about the Madonna discography. You have moments for all of it.
There's a song for each moment of our life. Okay, we've discussed two songs, but come on, Madonna's done so many Latin flavored songs. At one point, she convinced herself she was Latin in another life. She was fascinated by the Puerto Rican culture that she met downtown New York in the early 80s. She got her boyfriend Jelly Bean from Puerto Rico. She had a child with a Cuban, Carlos Leon. She named her first child Lourdes. She named her dogs after Latin names. She was extremely passionate about Evita to the point of being in and out of the movie production for 10 years before finally making it. We have so many examples that we can come up how passionate she is about Frida Kahlo and many other Latin figures. So, and she even had a Latin division at her record label Maverick. She believed in that a lot. So let's go through some of the songs that she did. And most of these you will find in a playlist that I have put on Spotify. You can find it in the book Madonna Songbook and on my Spotify account, Madonna Songbook by Giulio Mazzoleni. Before we get into the playlist, I want to mention that the first Latin thing she did was only on TV when she sang the Marica moment, when she sang 3 songs. Augustine, tell us about it.
Yes, I love that performance. It was on Saturday Night Live, I think in 1985, right? And she did like this comedy sketch of a Latin singer in a TV show called La Fabulosa Marica. And she sings Take On Me, La Bamba style, yeah, and very
And
Latin.
3 Times a Lady.
Yeah, 3 Times a Lay. Oh, I love that one. Yeah, I love that one. And also...
¿Te gusta amor, Joaquín?
¿Te gusta amor, Joaquín? Yo tengo mucho amor. And introduced El Pato Loco.
And she introduces El Pato Loco, which comes back in I'm Going Bananas.
Yes.
Exactly. That's a very good point. But before that, she recorded Love Makes the World Go Round, which is the first song that she wrote with Patrick Leonard before La Isla Bonita, before Live to Tell, during the Virgin Tour. In a day where he was hosting a barbecue at his home in Los Angeles, he said, "Hey, Madonna, I made a song. Do you want to listen to it?" And she liked the cassette. She took it around. And in Chicago, with a Virgin Tour band, they demoed Love Makes the World Go Round, which is a calypso-influenced song that she presented at Live Aid. Then she did La Isla Bonita, and then she did Who's That Girl? Who's That Girl was another great, huge #1 hit that she probably doesn't like as much as La Isla Bonita because it was never included on Immaculate Collection or other situations. She didn't perform it until the Rebel Heart Tour. We kind of thought she forgot about it.
She doesn't like Who's That Girl?
Like we don't like some songs, she doesn't like some of her songs. Or sometimes she doesn't believe that they're famous. It's incredible to think how many times she doesn't do a song because she thinks that the audience will not like it enough.
Exactly, yeah.
The next step that she did, again with Patrick Leonard, with whom she shared this passion for Latin flavored songs, is Pray for Spanish Eyes, also known as Spanish Eyes. Diego, that's one of your favorites. I put candles here just for you. I light a candle and watch it throw tears on my records.
What I like the most is the interpretation in her voice. You know, we know, and she always says that she's not the best singer, and we don't need her to be the best singer, because what we like of her as a singer is the quality of her interpretation, the color she puts in her voice when she sings, and the way she sings in Pray for Spanish Eyes is really what gives life to this song. And I don't think anyone else could make this song so full as she does. I know it's been said that it's about hoods or gangs, barrier gangs.
From LA.
Yes, but like you said, there are various interpretations, and it's come to my head that it might be about a lot of things. You know, Spanish Civil War, it could be, or the AIDS crisis, some people have understood it to be. And for some people, it could be about, if you go through the lyrics, it could be about the Latin American dictatorships, which were here in the 70s, the early 80s, where here in Argentina, at least, we had military dictatorship that had 30,000 people disappeared and killed. And you know, if you read the lyrics, it's really, it can apply to that, and it breaks your heart, and it's really close to home, and it has a Latin feel, and it matches a Latin story as well. Um, y Lágrimas de Tristeza no me dejan olvidarte. It's also beautifully sang, which is Marcos Locha, I think it's the
Yes,
guy who's
yes.
it.
The beautiful thing of
Yes.
this song is that we get to hear, play, and sing the Spanish guitar player that is seen in La Isla Bonita, the long-haired guy that was an actor on the La Isla Bonita video because the song was played by Bruce Gage originally, was hired by
Yeah.
Madonna to play a requinto guitar in that song and also
Oh,
speak
Beautiful.
those words and be the background vocalist. I love about this song also, you spoke greatly about the lyrics. I have a passion for its music. It's a beautiful composition by Patrick Leonard. And what I like is that, like O Father, it was recorded as a live session with all the musicians all together in the same room, performing like it's a concert, including Madonna singing. And you hear such unity, and it's really compelling. I love that song. And it definitely should have been a single. It was a single in Spain in 1990.
Yes. Yes, it was. Yes, and it could have had a video.
It could have had a video too. Let's go see other songs. After Like a Prayer, Madonna did I'm Breathless, and there was this little beautiful moment, 1 minute 40 seconds of I'm Going Bananas, written by Andy Paley with mariachi players, and she definitely references
Es el pato loco.
exactly. Marica comes back and mixes with the influence of Carmen Miranda, the Brazilian superstar of the Hollywood movies, the lady in the Tutti Frutti hat. If you don't know her, look it up. Madonna also referenced her in the dream sequence of Swept Away, where she dances on the beach. It's a reference very specifically directing to a movie with Carmen Miranda. But let's go back to music. The next thing, she didn't do Latin for a little while, but she went back to it when she decided to re-record You'll See in Spanish language, and that was called Verás. Augustine, I know this is one of yours.
It's one of the songs that made me a fan because it was during the time of Evita was being filmed here in Buenos Aires, and I loved You'll See as a song, and then she came with this Spanish version which Paz Martinez, which is an Argentinian songwriter, made the lyrics for, and it's a very nostalgic song, but it has this strong singing and about empowerment, because she doesn't like to be a victim when she sings about love songs. She just wants to be stronger than before. And now she's singing in Spanish, and I remember being a teenager and singing that song. It was very empowering for me too.
The next step is a very Latin flavored moment in Madonna's career. We were mentioning it. It's Evita. The great episode in the whole musical to me is how she was allowed incredibly by Andrew Lloyd Webber and Tim Rice to change Don't Cry for Me Argentina and make a special version, the Miami mix with Pablo Flores and Javier Garcia. But Diego, I know that you also like the musical in general, and obviously, how can we not mention Buenos Aires, whose bones or percussions were produced by none other than Emilio Stefan, the husband of Gloria Stefan and the great Grammy winner and Latin producer. What do you think of Buenos Aires?
I love the song. I love the original song. I think the remix is really good. The remix of Don't Cry for Me Argentina is way better as well. I really like that she wanted to have her imprint, made in the songs, and said, okay, I'm done with the musical. I want to make my versions. She even re-recorded the vocals, which is something she never does. It's amazing. And they used Fracanapa from Astor Piazzolla, which is also it's a very non-conventional, is one of the best tango players and writers in history, and it's a very non-conventional artist to use because his music was really irreverent for classic tango players
Was
and
it?
writers. Yes, because he broke with the structure of the classic tango, you know, the classic tango song, and he came. And if you listen to Piazzolla, it's really, um, it's really, it doesn't have the structure, and
It's incredible because here in Italy he's extremely popular. I mean, with the old generations, he's considered classic tango.
He's now, but in the beginning when he started to become famous by the tango conservatives, it was no, that's not tango.
That's not tango.
That's
no.
not
He was a
tango.
pioneer.
And
Yes.
now he's like the biggest tango artist in the world, not only in Argentina. And one thing I love about the Don't Cry For Me Argentina Miami mix is how she puts the tango on it,
Yeah.
and it works so well.
Smooth.
So well, and I'm sure that's her decision to put that.
Absolutely.
Like when she decided to put the flamenco guitars in Deeper and Deeper, I couldn't imagine Deeper and Deeper without the flamenco guitars. And the same happened with this version of Don't Cry For Me Argentina. It's very house, it's very dancey, but it's very Argentinian,
Yeah,
like
definitely.
Evita.
And for the Ray of Light album, which definitely isn't Latin flavored, she did include a song that originally was arranged as a bossa nova, a song inspired by her sessions with Rick Nowels when they were listening to Gilberto, Jobim, and all the other stars of the bossa nova Brazilian music. And that's how the song came out. Then with the production of William Orbit, the flavor was more hidden. Structurally, it's a bossa nova song, and a reference, obviously, for those who don't know much of bossa nova is Girl from Ipanema, a song that Madonna has also sung in some of her concerts. Again, with Orbit, she did the duet with Ricky Martin with Be Careful, Cuidado con mi corazón, which was the first of these duets that she's done with Latin stars. And then, when it was time for the Drum World Tour, she decided to record a Spanish version of What It Feels Like for a Girl, Lo que siente la mujer. The crazy thing about Lo que siente la mujer is that for the translation, they called many possible candidates, and one of them was an activist and a journalist, Alberto Ferreras, who received a call from a friend and saying, if you want to translate a song for Madonna, you have to do it now and deliver by tomorrow morning. And he was in New York and he was planning to watch some porno for that night. So he had to put up his pants, go out, buy the CD, because it was a time when that was the only way to listen to music, put the CD in his stereo. He worked on the song, he delivered the lyrics, and he said in his podcast he was able to resume his original plan. The next morning, he found out that the song had been approved, and he was invited to the tour premiere in Barcelona as a thank you note from Madonna. Then she didn't do Latin flavored song for a long time, but when it came to working with Pharrell, they did a song called Spanish Lesson, which was developed from the Be More beat, a Baltimore sound that was extremely popular at the moment, especially on YouTube. Madonna was interested. He played these YouTube videos and she said, okay, let's do a song about that. She must really like this song because whenever she can, she brings it back. She did it in the MDNA tour as a bonus song. She did a beautiful number in the Sticky and Sweet. She played with the language. It was a moment when you thought she had put aside this trend or what I call artistic mantras of her career, and she got it back. And then she returned in full force with the whole Madame X album. We've spoken about Medellin. There's Batuca that comes from Cape Green or Cape Verde. There's Crazy that mixes trip hop with Portuguese traditional music. There's Faz Gostoso, which is a cover of Portuguese song with a Brazilian star, Anitta. There's Extreme Occident, which is a fado. There's Bicham Loca, which is a reggaeton. There's Soltera, which is a song she did for Maluma's album. But my personal favorite is Killers Who Are Parting, which is a Morna. And I've learned that Morna is the sound of Cape Verde more than everything else. If you don't know, Cape Verde is an island off the shores of Central Africa on the Atlantic Ocean. The great Cesare Evora was from there. Madonna was a big fan of Cesare Evora, and Morna is this music that includes, like this song, violin, accordion, tambourines, and it's like Fado. It's very sad. It's about singing of sad situations, and the song has this nostalgic melancholy about losing identity and reclaiming it, and also Madonna being very political about defending all the minorities that she cares about. I also think she said once that it was her favorite song in the album. It is my personal favorite. I love the way she did it in Madame X, and I think it put center again in the fact that she has a Latin identity, although she is from Michigan, that her family is French Canadian, Italian American. She is very Latin oriented.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I forgot to mention Ciao Bella, which mentions literally Bella Ciao, but doesn't really have much else in common, although it's definitely not that Latin flavored. And more recently, she did Hung Up with Tokisha, which is a dembo,
Mm-hmm.
one of the developments of reggaeton in a more Latin flavor. I also would like to add that she did the beautiful medley of Dress You Up and Into the Groove in the Rebel Heart tour that is Mexican flavored, and thankfully she released it on the live album, so you can find it in the playlist. Is there anything else we haven't mentioned?
Not that I
I don't
remember.
think so. I think it's pretty much it, and I hope there's more because
Yes.
um, a lot of people didn't much like Hang Up on Tokisha, but I think it's really fun and cool. And I remember what she said when she was in an interview in I think it was the Body of Evidence promotion back in '93, when they asked her what would she be doing when she was 60, which is about the time that Hung Up on Tokisha came out, where in the video she's, kissing Tokisha and drinking and partying. And when they asked her what she would be doing at 60, she said, who knows? I hope I'm having fun.
And she's
She is.
she's
And so are we.
So are we. Thank you, Madonna.
Yes, thank you,
yeah.
Madonna, for the beautiful music you give us.
Gracias, Madonna.
I think that's the best conclusion we could come to for this lovely chat. Milan to Buenos Aires. Thank you again for your time, you guys. Nos vemos.
Gracias a vos.
Thank you for having us.
Ciao.
Bye.
That was such a fun chat that I forgot to show for the people watching the video version of this podcast a few records I had put aside. The fantastic La Isla Bonita Japanese single. I loved 7-inch singles. And the traditional one. Such a beautiful photo from her Brits. Beautiful single. And regarding Medellin, the rare promo single with a picture with Maluma. Little things, that keep us passionate about Madonna's music. So it was fun for me, and I hope it was fun for you too, watching and listening. The whole point of this podcast is to discover and rediscover all the stories behind Madonna's songs, and I think we have covered some nice ones today. If you want to know more, you can look up my book, Madonna Songbook. It's on Amazon in many countries, but where not available on Amazon or ebooks, it can be shipped from the publisher all over the world. Look up the link in the podcast description or on Madonna Songbook on Instagram, the link in bio. Please let me know your thoughts with your comments on your streaming platform. It means a lot to me having a direct exchange with other Madonna fans from all over the world. Thank you so much. Soon, I will release the next episode and we will jump into another of Madonna's many musical works with singles, album tracks, and deep cuts from her immense songbook. Yes, on Madonna Songbook, it's all about the music. Leave the chatter behind, let the music take control. 1, 2, cha cha cha. 1, 2. See you next time.